ladies and gentlemen, how are you today? This is Faisal Islam again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Last time we had talked about the Safavid Dynasty and about the women role in Safavid Dynasty, and that was our part 3. Today we will continue with our part 4, and we are going to talk about the rest of the topic about the women right in Safavid Dynasty, which we left. Last time when we had talked, we had said that the Qizilbash women were had more women rights than compared to the local Safavid Iranians. Women in Qizilbash, they used to mix with the man and woman, man and female. They used to mix together into mixed vendors. The females of Qizilbash used to wear colorful attires, and we know of many females who have been very successful in Safavid Dynasty, and one of them we have been talked about earlier in the last speech, part 3 of Safavid. That was Pari Khan Khatum, the daughter of Tahmasp, who had been ruled Safavid Dynasty for 1 year, which we don't see in Europe that much during that time. And she also have launched a campaign against the Ottomans, and she was general in that war. So that's something you have to say, that women do had some rights in Safavid Dynasty. Until 1694 to 1695, the female rights have been diminished, have been declined very badly, as 12 Shiites were imposing the Sharia law on the females. There were many royal edicts have been restricted, and few of them were: number 1, it was illegal for women to walk alone without the escort of a mahram. Mahram is the blood tie of a female, so they have to, whenever they walk, they have to walk with their husband, brother, father, someone who's blood related. They even not allowed to go to bazaars, the shops. The second ruling they had, the royal edict, was the females have to cover themselves in the veil, and that veil is called chador, Chador. And after that, they go with their husbands or mahrams, the blood relation, and they can go outside after that. As we said, Qizilbash women were very independent, as they were ruled very in a higher mobile and martial zeal. Qizilbash ruled their own territories as if that's their own territory, as if that's their own land, as if that's their own state. And Safavid officials only intervene when they have to collect the taxation, otherwise they don't intervene in the Qizilbash affairs. Now, next thing we're going to talk about is the Sufi tariqas. Now, Sufi tariqas were very highly suppressed by the Safavid dynasty, and the reason behind the suppressed and persecution of the Sufis is because Sufis are different group of Islamic sect, and 12 Shias are different. So what if the Sufis tomorrow claim that we want authority, we want a different power? That's why Sufis were mostly persecuted as a minority. As we had talked before about the persecution of the Jews, Zoroastrians, Sunnis, and so on and so on. In 1591 was a very important year of Islamic lunar calendar, as it marked a millennium of Islamic calendar. And every time there is a millennium happen in a religion, there is expectation of a messianic character, and here you have hidden imam who is expected to come around this time. Around this time, one of the Sufi groups or tariqas named Nuqtabi, who used to believe many gulats, and one of the gulats is so much worst that even the Qizilbash have stopped believing this Nuqtabi group and called them crazy. And that belief is that they do not distinguish between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Adam alayhi salam, which means they see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Adam alayhi salam as one single entity. So that's a huge gulat or false belief. This Nuktavis had plotted assassination against Shah Abbas I, and most of the Kijilbas didn't support them and didn't knew, and some of them who knew had supported this plot. And when Abbas I knew about this plot of assassination, he have immediately killed all the Nuktavi leaders and sheikhs, and also those Kijilbas who were associated with that. Those sheikhs were killed. And since this story, Kijilbas have been restricted and banned from the court, and also banned to be the personal security guard of Shah Abbas I. Even that happened, the Kijilbas was doing well, pretty well. They were not suffering much. Now, the 12 ulamas see all the Sufi orders as gulat or false belief. Though Shah Abbas I used to go to the Sufis, those Sufis who were not politically involved. So politically not involved Sufis were not persecuted much. And during this time, a group of 12 ulamas have came from Iraq, as they were persecuted by the Ottomans. So these ulamas had a lots of problem with this Sufi mystical belief, and they used to see this Sufi mystical belief as gulat or false belief. Most Sufis used to have the self-study. They were not going to any institution, and they feel the presence of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala into them. And these 12 ulamas from Iraq had problem with this belief, and they used to call them gulats. And two of the main beliefs which they call gulats were, number one, that the Sufi who claim that they have a feeling or the mystical belief, mystical feelings that they are connected to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what's the authority, what's the proof, what's the written document about that? Which means any Tom, Dick and Harry can come tomorrow and say that I feel Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some stuff like that. So this 12 ulama was saying that what's your proof or authority that you're claiming that you have a spiritual feelings? What's the proof? And second gulat was the master-disciple relation. And the ulama say the master-disciple relation is not what you have the imam, the hidden Mahdi alayhi salam and followers relation, because Mahdi alayhi salam will be sent divinely. These masters are not sent divinely. So there's a huge difference between Mahdi alayhi salam and the followers and master and disciple relation. So this type of gulats were spread throughout the Safavid dynasty, and Sufis were persecuted very badly. And Sufis had reacted to this persecution, as some Sufis have been went to India and some had hidden to underground and secret their beliefs. And when they were asked about their belief, they used to claim, they used to do taqiyya. Taqiyya is not Islamic, a form of Shia term, not all Shias, but some Shia term, in which you can lie when you have a position of dying. So you can lie that time when you have a position of dying. So they used to lie when they were asked about their religion to survive from the persecution. Though most mullahs or most ulamas didn't support these orders, there was specific one mullah or ulama had supported this order, and that ulama's name is Mullah Sadra. who supported this belief of Sufism, and he was associated with the school of Isfahan, which continued the tradition of Illuminationists. Illuminationists are the studies of ancient Greek philosophy. Mullah Sudra used to prefer Plato, and he used to make rational beliefs and rational ideas and rational logics. And Irfan al-Sawarwardi, a mystical knowledge, is mystical knowledge, a higher knowledge which is needed to put into the Sharia law, which was believed by Mullah Sudra. So according to him, Sharia law should be with its laws and also a mixture of Sufi beliefs and mystical visions and mystical touch. That what is Mullah Sadra have been said, that a Sharia law should be a mix of Sharia law and also the Sufi beliefs of mystical touch. And to get this mystical touch, according to him, you have to do prayer, meditation, and you also have to do fasting to get that feeling. Now we are going to go to the economy of Safavid dynasty, and we will wrap up with this. During the time of Abbas, the Safavid economy was very highly improved, as the Safavid used to do commerce and trade with Russia, Netherlands, and as far as to England. And the Portuguese had taken a very important port of Safavid dynasty, which is the port of Hormuz. This was a very important port as it links Iran, Safavid dynasty, to the Indian Ocean. And the Portuguese have taken it in 1515 from the Safavid dynasty, the port of Hormuz. Until 1622, almost 100 years later, English had helped Shah Abbas to regain the port of Hormuz. And it was not exactly British government, but it was the East India Company, which later on, 100 years later, have been took over India. So British East India Company had helped the Safavid dynasty and Shah Abbas to regain the Hormuz from the Portuguese. Abbas had a diplomatic relation with Europe much better than the Ottomans, because Ottomans, they were attacking Europe one after another and gaining more and more lands from Eastern Europe all the way to Austria. And Safavid, their enemy was Ottomans, and enemy of enemy is a friend. So Europeans and Safavids were having a friendly tie, as Ottomans were both of their enemies. Shah Abbas was so friendly with the Europeans that he even told the Pope that he can send missionaries, Christian missionaries, to Safavid dynasty or Iran. That much friendly they became. The Safavids and the Europeans, they used to export the silk and textile, and with that money Shah Abbas used to build bridges, buildings, bazaars or shops, caravanserais, secure roads, irrigation, and more things were built during this time, during the time of Shah Abbas the First. So we will finish it up here and wrap it up here, and next time we're going to talk about the part 5 and the last part of Safavid dynasty, and that time we will say and talk that how Safavid dynasty have been declined, and how was the new capital of Safavid dynasty, the Isfahan, was made, and so on we will talk about. And we will also touch a little bit about the next empire which is coming, which is the which is going to be about Nadir Shah and Aga Khan and all these people we're going to talk about next time when we come in. Until then, have a nice day. Thank you for listening to us. Have a nice day.